Thank you for your introduction. And hi, everyone. Thank you for joining our session today. And today, we would like to discuss the future of mobility and the future of life. And in this session, we have three topics. And first is surrounding environment over mobility industry. And second one is regulation. And the final one is what will happen in the future. Before going into the session, please allow me to introduce brilliant speakers, Eugene Tsumuraya from newmo and Ko-san from TIER IV. Please give them a big hands first. I'd really appreciate if you could introduce yourself, Ko-san.
Sure.
Yep.
Hello, everyone. I'm Miyoshi. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer of a company called TIER IV. It's a pleasure to take this opportunity to introduce about our company and what we're trying to do to solve the multiple problems in the mobility sector. So a brief introduction about our company, TIER IV. We are a deep tech startup developing autonomous driving solutions. We're about 9 years old. We've been established from 2015, and we have about 300 members at the moment. And we have offices around in Japan, in Tokyo, as well as a small office in the US, Palo Alto. And we also have a few members in China working with us to develop businesses. In terms of funding, we have about 37 billion Japanese yen, or about 250 or 260 million US dollars so far. And our investors range from VCs to strategic investors, for example, like automotive OEMs. Our company's mission is basically to democratize autonomous driving. So through open source. We really believe that autonomous driving solutions can solve a lot of problems that are seen in the mobility sector. And because the technology is so valuable, we think that it's not good for one company to dominate or monopolize the technology. So our vision is to leverage open source and make autonomous driving technology accessible to anyone, from individuals to large corporations. So this is a vision that we are trying to realize. And to that end, TIER IV, we have developed the world's first open source autonomous driving software called AutoWare. AutoWare is now known to be probably the most widely used autonomous driving software in the world. And currently, as far as we know, there are more than 30 vehicle models and in more than 20 countries and 500 companies that are actually using this open source software to make autonomous driving a reality. And this AutoWare itself, we have already transferred the ownership to a nonprofit organization called the AutoWare Foundation. So it's a truly open source community. And it's completely free of charge. Anyone can access a GitHub and actually use it from today. But TIER IV, as we are a for-profit company, so what we do is we basically leverage the open source software and we package it as a TIER IV product so that autonomous driving can actually be implemented for commercial use. So we're kind of like a Red Hat for Linux in the autonomous driving field. So having said that, TIER IV, what we have been doing is we have been developing multiple autonomous driving solutions. For example, if you can see in the picture, we've been doing multiple buses, autonomous driving buses, as well as taxis. And in Japan, just in 1 year, last year, we've been doing a lot of proof of concepts as well as commercial deployment in more than 30 cities or 30 regions inside Japan. And outside of Japan, we are also working with a lot of ecosystem partners to further develop our technology as well as our business in the global arena. So briefly, that's the introduction about TIER IV, and I'm really excited to share a lot more about what we're doing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your introduction, and I'm really surprised you have done a POC in such many cities. Yeah, thank you so much for your introduction. So Eugene-san, yeah, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you for your time, and I will introduce the newmo's introduction. So actually, newmo was born to create a colorful community by revolutionization by the mobility. But actually, we are building up our company at the beginning of this year, and then means like January 4, 2024, and then the founder is like he's Naoki Aoyagi, and he came from he was head of the Mercari Japan region. And established a management team with deep consumer and financial business expert. I told Naoki from the Mercari, and CTO also, he came from the Mercari and Merpay. He was in charge of the CTO at Merpay before. And so this time, they raised 2 billion Japanese yen in seed round from Mercari and 14 firms at current moment. This is a concept movie. Please show a few moments.
夢を乗せて、未来を乗せて、私たちは走り出します。移動で地域をカラフルに。newmo。
Yeah, thank you for watching our concept movie. To be honest, we are in the process of arranging the ride-hailing service, but the reason why rideshare now, so now is the pain of the shrink public transportation providers earlier. For example, like a taxi driver's number is like a very decrease from 2000s. At current moment, drivers of the taxi cab is around 200,000. People belong to the taxi company as a driver. So we would like to attack to this decreasing the market by the ride-hailing service. On the other hand, the inbound travelers are exploding after the lockdown, means like a COVID moment. So growing the 60 million by 2030. So that we would like to get this market by the ride-hailing service and taxi service. And another point is like we would like to coexist by the taxi cab and ride-hailing service. So the reason why is like a critically a different role in the transportation we thought. And we are extended market as a transportation service operator, not a ride-hailing app. Means like not only the ride-hailing app, but also like a taxi cab business also in Osaka. And the newmo operates its business hybrid model and a taxi cab and ride-hailing service. Means like a passenger and drivers from taxi cab and ride-hailing. And our plan is like Osaka and this coming fall, we will start our initial service. And next year, 2025, area of operating all over Japan. But this is our initial plan. Thank you.
Yeah, Eugene-san, thank you for your introduction. I'm convinced that newmo makes our life more colorful. Yeah, thank you so much. And I will move on to the first topic, surrounding environment. And the background is that mobility is an essential element for our better life. And some research shows that without mobility, quality of life will go down so rapidly. So we would like to understand the surrounding environment of Japanese mobility industry. And Eugene-san, thank you for sharing the detailed information about the surrounding environment. Probably please show the slide number 2, page 6 or 7. Oh, thank you. And Eugene-san, can you elaborate on that surrounding environment of Japanese mobility scene? Yeah, page 6 or 7.
Yes, thank you. The 6 is like this and this. Yeah, actually normally 20 years ago, the taxi cab drivers allowed 400,000 people as a taxi drivers. But at current moment, I told around 260,000 people as a taxi driver. So the very decrease, almost 50%, 40 or 50% is decreased from the previous market. This is a very specific our issue, I think. And then on the other hand, it's like we will get more requirement from the inbound, means like travelers came from all over the world, especially the 2025 that we have an expo in Osaka. So that one is like our expected the people visiting the expo around 28 million people visiting the expo in Osaka. So we would like to try to fill in this gap by the ride-hailing service and taxi cab business.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I'm really surprised about the rural area situation. Probably this is related to the discontinued rail lines. And how can you see the rural area situation regarding, let's say, public transportation or something like that?
Yes, I told a bit the different role in public transportation and ride-hailing service. Normally, the public transportation, the focus on the urban side is the left side of taxi operating area. On the other hand, it is possible to the approach to the local area and the countryside by the ride-hailing service and sharing economy. For example, like by the not only the taxi cab, but also like a private car by ride-hailing drivers. So we would like to approach like these different area by coexisting the taxi cab.
Yeah, this slide is really interesting because we can, how to say, have the different roles between the taxi and the ride sharing. Yeah, thank you so much. And this is a question to the Miyoshi-san. How do you see the current mobility situation? Yeah, surrounding autonomous driving or
Yes, I think it's very similar to what Eugene-san has explained. If you can go to slide 3, page 2. It's very similar in the autonomous driving field where, in Japan, the aging, the next page please. There's, a serious aging and shrinking population which is causing the rapid decreasing number of drivers. And in Eugene's slide, I think it showed that especially for bus drivers, there's already a shortage even to maintain the existing public transportation. So this problem is real. It's not coming next few years. It's already here. The government or municipalities are trying to introduce autonomous driving bus or autonomous driving solutions in order to fill in this gap of late driver shortage. So this is happening all over Japan, and that's why in my introduction we have done more than 30 deployments or POCs around Japan, but the background is because this is a real problem all over Japan.
So you mean that are you feeling the more strong demand in rural areas?
I think it will start, the problem is bigger in suburban or rural areas where it's very difficult to hire or acquire drivers.
Yeah, interesting. How about the ride sharing? Do you have a more strong demand in rural areas or?
Yes, we thought our plan is like, of course, the Osaka plan is like a factory, the very catch demand from the not only the domestic but also inbound. However, the rural area it's like we have existing the issue. For example, like my friends and grandfather and grandmother, it is not easy to visit in the hospital the weekly. We have to book the taxi cab or other transportation system. But if it is possible to provide the ride-hailing service in the rural area, it works for going to visit in the hospital and the care center also.
Thank you so much. And are you feeling the effect of hyper-aging society in rural area? Or?
Yeah, of course, we hope so.
I see. Yeah, and thank you so much. And my question is that your slide by Eugene-san that shows coexistence of ride sharing and public transportation is quite interesting. So my question is your service, so let's say the ride sharing service will eliminate public transportation or coexist with public transportation?
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, yes. Oh, can you change the slide, the number 2 and the page 6 or 7? Yes, public transportation is like it is possible to approach the. Yes, thank you. It's easy to for example, like urban area, and on the other hand, it's like a very middle or high population area. But to be honest, the low population area, it is not easy to access by the public transportation. Not only the train, but also buses also. So if we could share our element of the private car by ride-hailing service, it's very efficient fulfill the demand for the newer area also, I think.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. So, Miyoshi-san, Ko-san, and how about the autonomous driving? Autonomous driving will take the job from a driver, or every time, you may have this question. Yeah.
I think it's very similar to ride sharing, where it's not going to compete against existing drivers or businesses. I think it's going to coexist, or more than supplement the gaps that are already seen in the market. So, for example, some of the projects we're doing in Japan, our autonomous bus is kind of like a supplement to the existing line. So it's not going to replace any existing vehicle. It's just going to supplement the gaps that are already there. So I believe, at least in the next 10, 20 years, it's not a 1-0 game. It's more of a coexisting game to fill in, the needs of public transportation.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I understand well why government is pushing so strongly autonomous driving and ride sharing. Yeah, thank you so much. And I will move on to the next topic that is about regulation and the rules. And in my understanding, ride sharing and autonomous driving has a really complicated rules and regulations. Let's say that in US, regulations are different by each state. How about the situation in Japan? I will direct it to Miyoshi-san.
Yes, if you can go back to slide 3, page 2. I think Japan is one of the leading countries in the world for making infrastructure or regulations that allow autonomous driving on public roads. So because Japan is facing such a critical issue around public transportation, now Japan already has new regulations that will certify or allow level 4, which is basically what everybody imagines, a typical self-driving on public roads. So regulations are already there. And in addition to that, the Japanese government has already committed to this initiative called the Road to the L4, which is basically a government-supported project to accelerate the deployment of autonomous driving buses. And by this, the government, a lot of municipalities, governments, they work together very well, coordinate to accelerate the deployment. And they also provide a large amount of subsidies that will help companies like us to develop and deploy autonomous driving. So I think going back to your question, Japan is doing a very, very good job to compared to US or China in building these infrastructures.
Yeah, interesting. And regarding the road to level 4, can you elaborate on the timeline of the project initiative?
Sure. So the government's committed target is to realize 50 areas for self-driving by 2025 and 100 areas by 2027. So there's a committed target, and many companies, including ourselves, are trying to achieve that target.
Area means city or?
Yes, regions, cities.
Region, cities. Okay. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And how is the regulation advanced in Japan compared to other countries?
Sure. I think I'm not so much. I don't understand so much the details about other countries, but at least in the U.S., China, there are already regulations in place where I think many of you know Google's or Alphabet's group company called Waymo is operating robo-taxis in San Francisco and some cities in the U.S. So there's regulations there. But I think the motivation is a little bit different from Japan, where Japan is, again, there's an immediate problem of driver shortage and public transportation, whereas I think in the U.S., in China, the motivation's more towards like a free market, like improving user experience through these innovative technologies. So the motivation for making regulations is a little bit different between, I think, US, China, or Japan.
So the difference, will make any, feature of the regulation in each country? Yeah,
so I think in US or China, the regulations for autonomous driving is more reliant on municipalities or states, state governed. Whereas in Japan, because it's such a critical problem, the central government is building a standardized regulation that will be applied for all over Japan. So that kind of difference is seen in this market.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And Eugene-san, can you explain the rules and the regulation about the ride sharing? Yep.
I appreciate the number folds, right? Actually, there are the few moments for the start the ride-hailing service in the past. For example, like several companies have tried to take off the rideshare business in the past. Means like around 2008 and 2016. However, the need for the ride sharing was reportedly discussed, and door is finally open at current moment. Means from the last summer, 2023, and we call the Nihonban ride share went into the effective from last month, April 2024. However, unfortunately, only under the very limited time and day without the consideration weather and local events at current moment. For example, like Tokyo and Kanagawa and other area. But these high car the low is like it is possible to catch the light-hailing drivers. However, after white area, it's like it does not work. So it means like just only the 0.08% of the light-hailing to total taxi cab drivers. And this is an enquete from the Golden Week, the holiday season in Japan, and at the beginning of the May. The question is like, did you experience any problem trying to take a taxi during the Golden Week holidays? And this is a yes. It's like to the 80%. It's very big. And on the other hand, in the future, our main target for the light-hailing drivers, the gig workers and the spot workers, the many spot workers who are looking for a work in their free time, it's like 43% yes. And on the other hand, it's like 63% is like they are attached to the solo promoter, means like 個人事業主 also. And office worker, it's like 58%. Normally, they are employee at any companies. However, they have interest in become the taxi driver, light-hailing drivers also.
Yeah, interesting stack. And please move back onto the previous page. Yeah. So we have more and more inbound people, also tourists. And why our percentage is so high, over 80%? Yeah.
Yes, definitely. This is a very main issue, main target from our business. For example, like not only Tokyo, but also any place for the sightseeing, good place in Japan, you know. So for example, like Karuizawa and Hokkaido and other Fukuoka and Kyoto and Osaka also. That one is like they are trying to catch a taxi, but not only the taxi, but also like public transportation. However, the public transportation is like normally every element is in Japanese. On the other hand, for example, taxi cab is like inbound travelers. They have to explain the destination in Japanese, not English. So that one is the user interface is very critical issue, I think. So that one is like we would like to attack to the user interface and user experience.
Yeah, I understand. And for inbound people, what is their how to say preferable way to find out the taxi? Or utilize a Go or Uber or do you know?
Yeah, of course. For example, like Uber-san, it is possible to catch a taxi and the ride-hailing service. However, I told the ride-hailing just only the limited area. So normally the other area is like the travelers and the inbound people came from all over the world. They have to catch the only taxi by the mobile service. However, Uber, it works, and the Didi-san, it works also. However, the Japanese, domestic, ride-hailing service, it does not work for foreign mobile numbers. So they have to install their domestic service before visiting in Japan. So that one is like a next issue, I think.
Oh, I understand the situation well. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And so I'm also surprised at this regulation. So as you mentioned, the operating time is really limited. So how do you overcome this challenge?
Yes, that's a good question. Why is like this like limited the time and day is that at current moment the Japanese government and the other players that will gap fill compared with the taxi cab, the management time. So it means like normally, for example, the Friday night in Tokyo, it is not easy to catch a taxi, for example. So that one just only that specific time that it works and it's available for the ride-hailing service. So the background is like a very specific the data and the specific the date of the session on the mobile service. So we have to attack these data. On the other hand, it's like, of course, now is we have to building up our service. To be honest, now is we are in the process of building up our service at current moments. So the first step is like we have to launch our service.
I see. I see. Okay. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Going back to the Miyoshi-san, and is there any regulations that you have to overcome in Japan and the global market?
In Japan, maybe it's a little bit similar to ride sharing, but autonomous driving, the certifications for autonomous driving, it's limited to whatever we propose. So if we say that we're going to operate in a specific daytime or specific area, the only certification is we're only allowed to operate in that specific time or place that we have applied for. So current regulations, it's good, but in order for autonomous driving to really scale throughout the country, I think there needs to be a little bit more flexibility or a scheme where we can easily more scale throughout Japan. Yeah, so I think that's the thing we have to overcome.
Yeah, thank you for your explanation. And in my understanding, you are doing your business in so many countries. So how do you expand? Because to handle so many regulations is really tough.
Yes.
So how do you handle that?
So yeah, if you can go to slide 3. Yeah, we actually think that Tier 4, we take a very unique approach where, as Kimura-san mentioned, it's very difficult for one single company to adapt to each regulation for each country or each state or each region. So if you have enough money, resources to do that, that's fine. But for a company like us or a Japanese company, it's going to be very difficult to do that all by ourselves. So what we're trying to do is, because we have open source, we have created an open ecosystem or open community, which is called the AutoWare Foundation. And in this foundation, we already have more than like 70, 80 companies around the world, including leading companies like ARM for the edge side, AWS on the cloud side, and many more. Legacy automotive players or new automotive players like Foxconn from Taiwan. So there's so many companies that are, I think, aligning with us on this open ecosystem. And by doing so, what our strategy to scale globally is basically we have these partners in each region around the world that can basically collaborate and support on localization for the technology. So Tier 4 alone, we don't have to do everything by ourselves, but we can partner with these companies to customize or adapt to each region and each regulation. So that's kind of our strategy. And the next slide kind of illustrates what I just explained, but on the left side, Tier 4 and open source strategy. So what we can do is we can use the open ecosystem to apply our technology to various vehicles in various environments at the same time, whereas other players in the field, they're doing more of a closed ecosystem where they have to do everything by themselves. So their systems are more optimized for a specific vehicle or a specific environment. So I think this is the strategic difference of how we try to approach to overcome the various regulations in various regions.
Yeah, interesting approach. Your partners can customize your open software, and there are some function to the open software.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, thank you so much. And next question is, I will move on to the final topic, future of mobility and the future of our life, and how will autonomous driving will change our life?
Yes, I think there's the possibility is infinite, or there's so many ideas of how to use autonomous driving in the society. And well, this slide kind of illustrates the key, I think, benefits of autonomous driving. But I think ultimately the most important is the top one, which is increasing safety and a decreasing number of accidents. So this is ultimately what I think autonomous driving is for. But in addition to that, I think we've been discussing that, for example, in Japan, public transportation is a big issue. So enhancing accessibility is a key issue. But going further on to the future, I think it's more interesting because autonomous driving can be used to increase the value of time for people. For example, in Japan, you don't want to be on a train on a rush hour where the person next to you is like 10 centimeters away from you. So if there's more autonomous driving solutions in the market, then people have options to take, like maybe taking an autonomous bus or maybe a taxi or even like something in between where you have your own private space in this pod and you can work while work or have meetings while going to your destination. So I think the possibility is very, very wide.
Yeah, for that, affordability would be very important. So how do you see the price range of autonomous driving?
Yes, so right now, autonomous vehicles, what we're doing also, it's more like handmade because there's only like 100 or 200 vehicles in the market. But I think there's a tipping point that when there's enough vehicles that operates in the market, the cost will go much lower. The hardware costs, the sensors and everything, if you can purchase on a lot of like thousands, it's much easier to decrease the cost. And also on the software side, if we have thousands of vehicles running, it's much more efficient to gather data and improve software quality and operational capabilities. So I think once we reach to this tipping point where we have like maybe thousands of vehicles in the market, I think the cost will be much more affordable too.
Yeah, I understand. And in the future, how much cheaper compared to the public transportation or taxi?
That's a good question. For public transportation, I think it may be a little bit, because it's already very low cost,
right.
may be very difficult to have a price on par. But maybe compared to existing taxis, ultimately I think we can lower the price because we don't have to have human driver in the vehicle. So
yeah, depending on the cost of the sensors or
exactly.
Yeah, right. And one item, reduced traffic. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so in general, traffic is caused by human interactions, especially braking. People use brakes even when it's not actually necessary, and traffics are made by a line of brakes. So if there's enough autonomous driving vehicles on the roads, I think every vehicle can operate more smoothly without having to intervene with brakes. So that will probably, assumption is to reduce number of traffics, especially on highways.
Yeah, can you explain how our lives will change by autonomous driving?
Like from traffic, if we can reduce traffic, environmentally it will be much better for the society. And also from a business or point of view, I think we can use our time more valuably. So I think the social happiness overall could potentially increase.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, thank you so much. So Eugene-san, can you explain that part? Yeah, future of our life or future of mobility by ride sharing.
Okay, thank you. Can you share the number 2 slide? Yes, firstly, to be honest, we have to launch our service in the future. Thank you. Yes, for example, like we would like to attack to the inbound needs. So we launched in Osaka our initial project. However, the inbound, the means like travelers came from all over the world. They would like to approach the whole area inside of Japan, I think. So if the after launch our service, if the travelers will catch the ride-hailing car by the mobile app, it is possible to go anywhere by car, domestic market inside of Japan. So we would like to approach these needs fastly. On the other hand, it's like we would like to create a new position for the job description as ride-hailing drivers to the spot workers. So if we launch our service, it is possible to get a new job for spot workers. And I told the last enquete, it's like individual business persons have an interest in becoming the ride-hailing service. Also, the employees, people have an interest in becoming the drivers, ride-hailing drivers. So that's a very good point for create a new job for the people. That one is like our plan for the
Yeah. Interesting. Their motivation is coming from just a wage or a communication kind of thing, social communication?
Yes, our hope, means like our mission is like we create a colorful community. So we hope that not only the money, not only the sales, but also they communicate with the passengers, and also that we would like to create very means like a flat users exchange. The concept movie that we explained, that it is easy to that drivers will become to the passengers. On the other hand, passenger they could be drivers easier. So that one is like our create community for they communicate with the others via the ride-hailing service.
Yeah, good vision. Yeah, I hope so too. And thank you so much for sharing that. And I can imagine well about how autonomous driving and ride sharing will reshape the future world. Thank you so much. And now we have reached the end of our discussion. So speakers, any comments to audience? Yeah, from Eugene-san first.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for coming to this session today. Yes, I told that, to be honest, we are still in the process of building up our service and arranging the operations also. However, next year we will have a big event in Osaka, and also that we would like to think about other areas by the ride-hailing business. So if you have any interest in please feel free to send the email.
Yeah, we need your email address.
Any contact our website. So thank you for today.
Yeah, thank you, Eugene-san. Yeah, Ko-san.
Yes, I think again, autonomous driving will solve a lot of problems in the future of mobility. So we will like to lead not only Japan but globally to solve a lot of problems there. And again, we're very open. We're open source, open community. So if you have any collaboration ideas, please feel free to contact me. And also advertisement, but Tier 4 is operating autonomous bus and autonomous taxi in the Odaiba area for this event. So I think you have to do some reservations online, but if you have interest in trying out our technology, please access to our website and try out. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much. And to the audience, they are really open. So please feel free to contact them. And thank you for taking your time today and joining our session. So please give them a big applause.
All right, thank you very much. You can please exit the stage. どうぞご登壇ください。